Hey guys, it's ToProForuGames, and today I have a very interesting video. Today I'll be going over 10 sounds that zombie players hate hearing here in BO4 Zombies. Today I'm gonna try something a little bit different. Instead of doing our normal sound quiz, we're gonna do a visual quiz instead. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys a picture of something from BO4 Zombies. All you have to do is comment what you think this picture is. So good luck to all of you right there. That was definitely an easier one, but if you guys enjoy the whole, visual quiz, we'll do some harder ones as we go. And of course, for all of you who are new here and you enjoy the BO4 Zombies content, make sure to hit that sub button. If you are subbed, make sure you have your notifications turned on. Besides that, let's go ahead and jump into the first sound that zombie players hate hearing. Starting things off here in the number 10 spot, we have a sound that should be very familiar to all of you who have played BO4 Zombies, because this sound is a sound that usually leads to a ton of frustrating deaths. Now that right there was the sound of the fire on IX, and this is a sound that I'm sure none of you will like to hear. And personally, whenever I play IX, I usually have at least one down from the fire, because there's always that time where you're a one hit or you have 50 health and the fire just happens to turn on as you are running over it, and it is just really annoying. Coming in at the number 9 spot, we have a sound that when you first hear it, you might not think much of it, but this is a sound that can lead to some very unfortunate situations. So that right there was the sound of the tigers on IX, and when the tigers first spawn in, they don't run at you right away. They kind of walk very slowly around the map, even slower than the hellhounds do, and a lot of the time you're running on the map or you're kind of chilling in one area and you hear these chains rattling and you don't know what it is, because on IX there's a ton of background noise, and the gladiators and the brawlers, they all make their own unique different sounds. So sometimes you can overlook this sound and all of a sudden, there's 3 tigers around the corner jumping at you and downing you. So this is one sound that can be kind of frustrating. Coming in at the number 8 spot, we have a sound that I'm sure almost all of you will recognize right away, and you will understand why you hate it so much. The weird thing about the BLIGHTFATHER is usually when a boss zombie spawns in, they'll go after you right away. Like, for example, Brutus, he goes after you. Sometimes he'll go off and lock down perks and lock down the box or traps or break windows, but he won't go far away from you, and he'll usually just end up going after you right away. The BLIGHTFATHER, though, kind of goes off and does his own thing. You expect him to chase you, but he doesn't, and then a round later, sometimes 2 rounds later, you're on the opposite side of the map where the BLIGHTFATHER spawned in, and there he is roaming around, and sometimes he can catch you off guard. Coming in at the number 7 spot, we have a sound that necessarily isn't a threat to you, but it's just one of those sounds that you just don't want to hear. So that right there is the sound of the water or the ice zombie, and this is the one special zombie that probably annoys me the most, just because it goes around, it kind of stays in the back, it doesn't really attack you, and it makes all of the other zombies stronger. And it's not just a little bit of a health buff, it is a noticeable difference. Like, my guns that are fully papped all of a sudden aren't killing zombies, and this is kind of annoying in the early rounds. So whenever one of these guys spawn in and I hear their footsteps, I try to kill them right away. Coming in at the number 6 spot, we have a sound that can only go off when you are close up to a specific thing here in BO4 Zombies, and it's a sound that you probably just don't want to hear. So that right there was the sound of the fire zombie exploding. And the fire zombies on Voyage and IX are kind of sneaky and kind of evil because they roam around the map slowly like the tigers do. And there have been so many times where I have one zombie left, I'm buying some perks and papping guns, and I go around a corner and all of a sudden there's like 3 or 4 fire zombies walking super slow. They all explode and just insta-kill me, and they do a lot of damage when they explode. I think they do a total of 75 damage, so if you get hit by like 2 or 3 at a time, it's an insta down. Coming in at the number 5 spot, we have a sound that you may not always notice, but when you do, it can be a lifesaver. So this can be a sound that you actually might want to hear, but then again, who actually wants their shield to break? And hearing that sound is kind of, annoying because then you have to go and grab another shield. But personally, I never hear the sound. Like, I know my shield breaks, but for some reason, I guess over, all the zombies and my shots, I just never hear my shield break and I end up dying. So either this sound is a good thing or a bad thing. Coming in at the number 4 spot, we have one sound that can make you lose your vision. So that was the sound of the Nova 6 crawler exploding and releasing that gas. And the Nova 6 crawlers here in BO4 Zombies are definitely a lot more powerful than they were back in BO1, because in BO1, if you ran through that green smoke, it wasn't really a big deal. It was maybe like a second or two where your screen was blurry. But here in BO4, these things are insane because not only do you lose your vision for a lot longer, but you actually slow down, which is a really big thing, because if you're in a place like the labs where it's super close quarters, and slowing down running through that could easily kill you. Coming in at the number 3 spot, we have a pretty obvious sound. It's a sound that I'm sure everybody dreads hearing, because when you hear the sound, you've obviously messed up. So that right there is the sound of downing / being down here in BO4 Zombies. That sound has actually changed a ton, because in a game like BO3, even in BO2, when you downed, it was like a very aggressive sound letting you know that you've downed. Not only that, but there was actually a sound letting you know that you were like a 1 hit from being down, and that's not here in BO4. Sometimes I didn't even realize I ended up going down because there's no sound cue. So obviously this is still a sound that nobody wants to hear, because you end up losing perks and setting yourself back. Coming in at the number 2 spot, we have a sound that you might not realize what it is right away, but when you're trying to do a certain Easter egg, this sound can be very frustrating to hear. Like I said, it's a sound that some of you may not know what that is right away, but that was the sound of your crowd affinity going down. So when you do something to lower your affinity, the crowd starts booing, and if you're trying to do the IX Easter egg where you want to have that max affinity for the death of Orion, hearing that sound really sucks, because if you want to do that and do the Easter egg and get some of these steps done early on, you want to have that golden pot or golden urn as soon as possible. And there are so many times where I might have max affinity and I do something by accident, like run through the fire by accident, and hearing that sound really sucks. Finishing off our list here in the number 1 spot, we have one sound that I know absolutely every single BO4 Zombies player never wants to hear. So why am I playing the PlayStation main music sound? Because that's the sound you're going to hear when your game blue screens. And of course, that's if you're on the PS4. But come on, guys. Blue screens is this big thing with BO4 Zombies. Now the game is mainly stable. There still are blue screens, but for the first 2 months. That is one sound that we heard way too much, and personally it's a sound that I absolutely never want to hear again when I'm playing BO4 Zombies. So there you have it, guys. Those were 10 sounds that zombie players hate hearing here in BO4 Zombies. If you want to see a part 2, please let me know in the comments below. Besides that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.